Hello guys, and welcome into a new point of view driving episode. He changed his mind. Right there on the left where that Cupra parked, there used to be an arcade game center. Let's say center. It's an over-the-top statement. There were basically some games rooms. Two, I think they were. One had some flipper games, and the other one really small and crowded. It was a very tight space. There were a few arcade games, I think 3 of them, but it was man, it was packed, it was full all the time. You can imagine this was back in the 90s, in the in the mid 90s, something like that. Uite pe unde vin ăștia, băi, nana. So about 1994, something like that. And even earlier, in the first half of the 90s, 92, 95, something like that. And I remember it even to this day. There weren't tokens, but you had to put in 100 lei. It was a coin. In let's say in today's money, adjusted to inflation, I think it would be like 10 lei, something like this. It would be so 10 lei, but of course today we don't have that in a coin, but it would be the equivalent of 2 euros, $2.50, something like that. And they had their Street Fighter, I don't know, Street Fighter 3, I guess. It was the let's say the one that was the best known Street Fighter version. Man, how many nights, how many hours I've spent there with my friends. But yeah, if I could turn back the time, I would stay away from them. I would invest those money, those coins. But like everything over the years, it was something. It was a culture, even if so-called culture, but it was, you can imagine, back then all the kids were addicted to those types of games. Yeah, and it was there. The owners made a fortune. I mean, they would literally open the boxes from which they pulled out the cash. You can imagine they left with bags filled with those coins, those money. And nowadays you can correlate those things to those games to the snack machines. Any machines that you can see right now with juices, chips, candy, you name it. It is the same thing. So it lasted a while until those games, Sega, Nintendo type of games appeared. When those appeared, again new centers emerged. You can imagine they were really immersive. The graphics were unseen for that period of time. Not to mention when PlayStation appeared. I mean, whoever owned a PlayStation back then, I mean, it was insanely rich. I mean, it was something that you could have not imagined or comprehend. And of course, the owners who had those places bought them second-hand from the States. Usually, this was the case in my town. And again, they made a fortune out of them. From Monday to Saturday, I mean, everything was packed. Each hour was rented, and on Sundays they used to rent them at home. Of course, it was really, let's say, something very strict. You had to take your ID, and left you had to leave the ID from, let's say, Saturday when you picked up the game, until Monday when you had to take back the entire machine. And again, you can imagine a fortune, but it was worth it in case you, let's say, you had the chance to book that machine. It was way cheaper than renting them by the hour right on the spot. Sunday, the entire game center was closed, and they literally were making money even when they slept. So yeah, that was it. And after that, of course, the gaming era with the PCs emerged. And that lasted, I think, the most. I mean, you can even find some centers today, despite the fact that nowadays the PCs are so affordable compared to those times. I mean, again, whoever owned a PC in the late 90s, in the early 2000s, man, I mean, it was a luxury. I mean, like, back then, $1,000 valued like $10,000 today. So imagine, even today, when somebody tells you, I bought a $10K PC, it is really, I mean, a lot of money for something like this. Back then, a PC that cannot be compared with what we have today costed about $1,000. with a black and white two-tone monitor. I mean, really basic, but again, who had something like this, it was amazing. Who had a colored monitor, it was unheard of. But yeah, it brings back memories. Right now you can imagine none of those centers aren't anymore, but for the period of time that they've existed, they were a golden goose. A cow that was muled as much as possible. Or milked. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the best. May your weekends be as sunny as this one was for me. all the best once again, and I'll catch you in the next episodes. Take care wherever you are. Bye bye.